Let me first of all say, this is my 8th time playing in this stadium. The first time we played here, they were all Texas A&M. The first time we played here was against Bo Jackson, who won a Heisman Trophy. The second time we played here was against Notre Dame, and Tim Brown won a Heisman Trophy. The third time I played here was against Earl Bruce in Ohio State. It was his last game at Ohio State. Chris Spielman, those guys on defense. The fourth time it was against Florida State. Chris Wenke won the Heisman Trophy that year. And then the last 2 times it was against Notre Dame, back-to-back times against Notre Dame in here when I was at Texas A&M. And I told our players today about memories. And all the memories are provided by the players. This is a player's game. And I talked about how much respect I had for these guys to go play in a game like they were about to play in today, where it's probably 88 or 90 degrees, whatever it was, very high humidity. We knew it was going to be 2 schematic style offenses. It was going to be a physical game. And these guys provided me with another memory today. This win to me, just because of what happened last week, the fact that we're playing the Air Force Academy and we're now 3-2 against the Air Force Academy in 5 years at New Mexico, when probably before that era, I don't know if they were even competitive. And the heart, the character, the pride, the toughness, I am so proud of this team, particularly because of what's happened early in this year. So I have to say that before I start. It's much more than how many first downs we had or how many plays they made. I'm very proud to be 3-2 against the Air Force Academy at the University of New Mexico. That means a lot to me.
Offensively, everything changed when Lamar went out.
Yeah.
He didn't necessarily want to throw at that point. The defense came through.
Yeah, again, as I said, this is my 8th time. I don't know that I've ever been in the game, but there's been several things I don't know that I've been in where the offense is just going up and down the field the way they have. Schematically, the level of football between the 2 offenses were very, very high. There were a lot of good things. They did some things we hadn't seen before. In the second half, we made some stops. We were able to get them in some passing situations that was key. Other than the 3rd down and 19 when they ran the little squirrel route for a touchdown that Boatwright missed the tackle. So creating some negative plays, getting them in passing situations were key. The 49-yard field goal by Sanders, it kept it at more than a field goal game or more than a score game, was key, as you know, because if they can stay in their rhythm and have 4 downs to run the ball, you're going to have a hard time. So, so many things, so many plays. Again, Santos goes out early. Boatwright comes back and plays, then he goes out. But they came back, I was encouraged. But offensively, up until the last 3 drives of the game, I don't know that you could do much more. It was a clinic offensively against a very good defensive football team. Air Force is a good team now. To do what our offense did, and then when they ran out of gas a little bit, we were able to get some stops on defense. Probably like the San Jose State game a little bit, right? Probably the same kind of flow. If we can just get some stops, we have a chance at the very end.
Earlier in the week, you said something's going to have to give between you guys were in the ball against the number 2 rushing defense in the country. First 2 possessions, you have 3 play drives, 3 carries, 75 yards. How big of was it getting Teriyon Gibson back in that?
Huge. For our offense to start as fast as they start week after week, it seems, is really impressive. This wasn't the fastest track. This was a very kind of soggy, slow kind of surface, which concerned me a little bit, but speed's still speed. And one thing we've been is really good schematically, and we've got some guys that can run, and we've got some speed. But certainly the dynamics changed when Lamar went out in this kind of game, because it was a true triple game. We didn't want to throw it. And then Gip went out. Gip got a little bit tight, and we didn't want to push that thing anymore. So again, heck of a game. I would imagine that was a heck of a game to watch, just as a fan watching that game, I would think.
Billy was just one trip away from taking one to the house. Pretty dynamic performance for him.
Yeah, you asked me about Lily. You know, I think maybe you watched the tape of his high school a little bit, and you knew what kind of returner. He's electric. He's electric, you know, and he's one of those guys, you know, he's a corner, but he's 150 pounds right now, or 155 pounds. We need him at corner, but we may have to find some ways to get his hands on the football. He is one of those guys when you say, wow, that guy is another gear, and I think we all see it.
Santos, Boatwright, any idea?
I don't think Santos was a concussion. He took a pretty good shot. You know, Boatwright was just nicked up and beat up, came back in, and Gurgle got nicked up and beat up a little bit, and he kept playing. Nick got beat up and banged up, and he came back in. This was a gut check. You know, I mean, you're playing a service academy on a day like today, with that sunshine and that humidity. I've seen a bunch of them run and hide before, and more than anything, I'm just proud that we hung in there, kept fighting, and were able to win a game like this. This means a lot to me, just personally, of how far I think this program's come. I really mean that.
You mentioned, you know, that players make memories. You know, for guys like Gip and guys like Lamar who are from the DFW area. You know, how cool do you think it is for them to kind of come back and have this kind of performance?
Yeah, we had we ended up getting 475 tickets, and it's totally legal. I bought 3,000 tickets for our players out of our football budget, just because it's about the players. It's about the players, and there were a lot of guys here with a lot of family, as you could see. There weren't many people in that stadium. But there were a lot of representation of people that were really important to our players. There were a lot of family here, a lot of family. All right, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
Great, man.
Well done. Thank you.
That was big, man. Big.
Congratulations.
Big. Thank you.
Well done.